Hey everyone, I got a request to do some custom vans, and since I get so many questions about how I paint vans, I decided I'd make a quick tutorial out of it. So if you're interested in making your own custom vans, then just keep on watching. So here we just have the classic white slip-on vans. I find that these are the easiest to paint since they are canvas. I'm not very good in the leather department, so I decided to go with the classic slip-on vans. The next thing I always do is I go through Pinterest or Google Images just to find some references to help me when I'm drawing or trying to lay out the design for the vans. Typically, before I print them, I will put them into black and white and I will increase the sharpness so that when they are printed, they come out really bold and it's easy to see the outlines. Next, I always have my supplies laid out so that they're easy to grab. So I just have a cup of water and my favorite paintbrush, which comes from Walmart actually. I will leave them linked down below, but they are natural haired, which makes them easier to paint in my opinion. I'm just going to cut out some of my reference pictures so that I can lay them over top of the shoes. I find that this is an important step for me because it helps with the design process. So I don't have to commit to any drawing on the actual shoes. I can just lay them over top of the shoes and kind of see what the final outcome will look like. Once I've decided where I want the final design to go, I kind of just make some reference marks so that my design will be a similar image to the reference photo. I try to keep my reference photos of similar size to my actual drawing because it just helps me visually, but of course you can do whatever is easiest for you. Once my drawing is all laid out, I use something called a textile medium, which turns acrylic paint into fabric paint. So the only things you need to make fabric paint is some sort of acrylic paint. I typically use apple barrel or just any of the small bottles that you can find at Walmart. They're really inexpensive. And you mix that with the textile medium and it makes it kind of a shiny, elastic type of paint rather than acrylic paint. I have found that acrylic paint tends to crack on fabric, so I would really highly suggest getting a textile medium. I think I ordered it on Amazon. I'll leave it linked below as well. The textile medium suggests to use 2 parts textile medium to 1 part paint, and I don't use that much of the medium because I feel like it thins out my paint too much. But depending on your canvas and the design you're going for, I would just test it out before you commit to anything just so that you get the desired look you're going for. Normally, acrylic paint dries really fast, but once you add this textile medium to it, it takes a little bit longer to dry, so just keep that in mind whenever you're painting to avoid getting your hands in it or smearing it or anything like that. And I'm just going to time lapse the rest of this painting process and I'll get back to you at the end.
never thought that we'd go this far. Don't stop now.
Next, I'm going to take a fine tip Sharpie and I'm going to give you a fair warning for this. If you use a Sharpie, and you'll see at the end of the video, if you use a Sharpie and apply any type of fabric protectant over top of it, it will smear. So at the end of this video, you'll see that I kind of had some smearing going on, and it's because I used a Sharpie. If I was going to redo this project, I probably would have used acrylic paint, even though all mistakes can be fixed with either a white paint or whatever your background color was. They can be fixed, but I would just say go the extra mile and use the acrylic paint. It'll end up looking better in the end, and just avoid the smearing altogether.
Okay, I'll do it in Sharpie. I can do it in Sharpie, I think. It'll be I hope.
Here you can see exactly what the shoes looked like before I put fabric protectant over them, and they looked pretty good, but I would definitely recommend using some sort of fabric protector because if they ever get wet or scuffed, it'll just help protect all of your artwork, which probably took you a long time. So all of the acrylic paint that I outlined on the front of the shoes didn't seem to smear nearly as bad, but this can be a learning experience for all of us because I have seen a lot of people on YouTube use Sharpies on their shoes, but I have never seen them apply any sort of protectant. So here you can kind of see what I mean by it starting to smear and I start freaking out.
I like it. Oh my god, it's smearing so bad. I'm gonna have to fix it. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. Okay.
This is what the shoes looked like after I just took a small detail brush and cleaned up all of the smearing. This is the end result of me customizing a pair of white classic slip-on Vans. If you decide to recreate any type of clothing or shoes, feel free to share them with me with my Instagram handle linked at the end of this video because I would love to see them. I hope you found this video helpful and I will see you next time.